I know that you will all agree with me that when the history of this endeavor is recorded, Ivo de Boer's steady guidance will be remembered. Thank you, sir. Thank you for all you have done, and thank you also for the privilege of allowing me to share some thoughts at this historic meeting. For 17 years now, we have been meeting together through enormous transitions in our politics. New presidents, new prime ministers, new friends who quickly became old friends. We've taken a long journey together, from Rio to Copenhagen, through 14 COPs in between, through all the hurdles and challenges. Two constants have remained. First, the urgency of the science that tells us we must act. Second, we, those gathered here and many not here but supporters, have never wavered in our determination to get the job done. And that is why we are on the brink of making history now. Back in 1992, an American president personally traveled to the climate talks in Rio to help plant the seeds of possibility, the promise of a beginning. But that promise was allowed to wither on the vine. In the years that followed, the United States joined with other major polluters to delay, divide, and deny. We simply failed to lead in the manner that this challenge demands. But this is a new day. 17 years is a long time to pursue an urgent goal. But history does remind us that sometimes even urgent struggles take time. And that's why we're gathered here again in Copenhagen, because we know that in one day, with one agreement, we can put the world on a safer path. In the coming hours and days, the world expects us to get this job done. And so it is with climate change. You either understand and accept the science or you don't. This is not a cafeteria operation where you can pick and choose and accept the science that tells you what is happening, but then reject the science that tells you what will happen if you don't act. If Dick Cheney can argue that even a 1% chance of a terrorist attack is 100% justification for preemptive action, then surely when scientists tell us that climate change is nearly a 100% certainty, we ought to be able to stand together, all of us, and join in an all-out effort to combat a mortal threat to the life of this planet. There isn't a nation on the planet where the evidence of the impacts of climate change isn't mounting. Frankly, those who look for any excuse to continue challenging the science have a fundamental responsibility which they have never fulfilled. Prove us wrong or stand down. Prove that the pollution that we put into the atmosphere is not having the harmful effects that we know it is. Tell us where the gases go and what they do. Pony up one single cogent, legitimate scholarly analysis. Prove that the ocean isn't rising. Prove that the ice caps aren't melting, that the deserts aren't expanding, and prove that human beings have nothing at all to do with any of it. Let me just say, good luck. Now and forever, amateur hour is over. It's time for science fact to trump science fiction. Copenhagen is not about one country or one faction simply making a demand of another. It's the science itself demanding action from all of us. As fingers point in one direction or another, as frustration grows with the politics of one country or another, we just can't afford to lose sight of the reality that no country individually and none of us collectively are doing enough. None of us. The United States is back, and President Obama is coming to Copenhagen to put America on the right side of history. But let's be honest here. Our common responsibility demands that if we're serious about solving climate change, then every country that contributes significantly to the problem today or will contribute in the future must be a part of the solution in a way that is transparent and accountable. This can literally be a watershed moment if we go home with a comprehensive political agreement at the highest level that includes a global emissions reduction target and commitments by all countries to take actions to achieve that target. I've said previously, and I say again, that I think early summer date of June or July of 2010 is realistic and necessary, and I think that will help us keep the pressure on, both on this effort as well as our own domestically in the United States. Here in Copenhagen, we have an opportunity to realign the way nations have dealt with each other. By reaching agreement on finance, emission targets, and a transparent system for global action, we will be recognizing globally that the stewardship of the planet and our appetite for resources will be managed in a new way, in a new era. Today, we are closer than ever to getting the job done. People fail for 700 days and succeed for 1. People strive for 17 years and succeed for 1. We need to trust the science, we need to trust each other, we need to put aside our grievances, and we need to focus on the bottom line and have the courage to take the risks and make Friday our day of success. Thank you.
How is your message being received? How convinced are the Indians, the Chinese, the other
Well, they're all
nations?
making constructive. People, I think, are realizing that the time is short now, that they need to make some progress, I think, today. The meeting I had with the Chinese gave me a good sense that there is an ability to get an agreement on the verification component and the reporting. I think that can make progress. We've got to get the finance piece on the table, and then there's some issues that are sort of more technical within the framework of how does Kyoto relate to this and so forth that have to be resolved. But I'm very confident that with goodwill and good effort in the next hours, if people come to the table with that purpose, it can be achieved.
The latest numbers show that people don't believe in America that this is as much of a problem as they've been led to believe, and that they don't want to change the way they live in order
You don't have to change the way you
are,
live.
Those numbers are going south.
Nobody is suggesting, nobody has to give up any comfort. Nobody has to change the way they live. They can live better. They can live safer, live healthier, live with more income at their household, live with less money going to wasteful energy. This is a better road for the creation of jobs and the security of our country. And I believe that, again, most Americans are beginning to understand that.